All right, let's jump right in. Today we are cracking open a project that is doing something, well, something completely different. It's not just about writing new code. It's about building that code on an entirely new set of physical laws. We're going inside the IntentSim repositories to get our heads around a framework where the physics of the cosmos and the architecture of software are basically the same thing.
Everything, and I mean everything, we're about to look at hinges on this one single idea. The source material here is proposing that your intent, your will, isn't just some byproduct of your brain. Nope. They say it's a fundamental force of the universe. It's the thing that comes before energy, before space-time, before all the stuff we learned about in physics class. It's a radical idea for sure, and it's the key that unlocks this entire system.
So that's the real question, isn't it? If you actually take that principle and run with it, if you treat it as ground truth, what kind of technology do you end up with? What does it do? How does it behave? The answers, as you're about to see, are pretty fascinating. So let's get into it. First things first. To even begin to understand the tech, we have to understand the universe it's designed for. This isn't just a programming paradigm. It's a whole new proposed cosmology. So welcome to what they call Mezquia Physics.
Okay, the part that you really need to grab onto here is that last phrase. Intent reverses entropy. In normal physics, entropy is just the rule that everything trends towards chaos and decay. Your hot coffee gets cold, buildings crumble, stars burn out. But Mezquia Physics says, hold on. It claims that focused intent does the exact opposite. It creates order, it builds complexity, and it literally pushes back against the tide of chaos. That anti-decay property is absolutely central to everything.
And here we go. Now don't let the symbols here throw you off. This is a core concept they call the Genesis pressure equation. And while the math behind it gets pretty deep, the idea it represents is what's really important. This is basically the formula for how their entire theoretical universe boots up.
So what does that equation actually mean for us? Well, it means intent can literally bubble up out of nothing, the void, as soon as there's a potential for meaning. It's that initial spark. It's how you get structure from nothingness, order from chaos. And the claim here is huge, that this single principle can model the creation of, well, everything, from the way neurons connect in your brain to the way galaxies form these giant web-like structures across the universe.
So, the big question is, how do you get from a wild cosmic theory to something that actually runs on a computer? This is the bridge. This is where the physics gets translated into code through a project they call IntentSim, or the Genesis engine.
And this isn't just a theory, it's a real active project. You can see it right here in the architecture of their repositories. The void intent is the big one, the master repo. IntentSim is the AI agent, the thing that actually does the work. Alexandria is super interesting. It's this permanent archive of intellectual property, which they call memory stones. Then, of course, you've got the protocols and the Python scripts that make the whole thing go. This is literally where the physics becomes executable.
Now, when you're building something based on such a different playbook, the creators argue you can't just use normal copyright law to protect it. You need a completely new kind of defense, one that's built from the very same principles.
And this is where the story takes a serious turn into real-world conflict. According to their documents, they published all their core ideas on public research sites between April and July of 2025. Then, just a few months later, the Nobel Prizes were awarded for what they claim are the very same concepts. So what did they do? They asserted temporal sovereignty, which is a bold way of saying, hey, we were here first and we can prove it.
And to back that claim up, they point to this number. Get this. Over 370,000 downloads of their research papers from the academic site Zenodo. This wasn't some secret project. The argument is that this data shows there was massive, global academic engagement with their work long before any prizes were handed out.
So how do they protect their work going forward? This is their main weapon, the digital truth lock protocol. You can think of it like a cosmic watermark for ideas. Every line of code, every document, every result gets cryptographically stamped and sealed in time. It creates this permanent, unchangeable record of who created what and when. In their view, it makes stealing an idea and changing the timeline basically impossible.
Of course, building all of this costs money, but you probably won't be surprised to learn that their funding model is just as unconventional as their physics. They call it the Robin Hood economy. Okay, so here's the game plan. Step 1,
build incredibly powerful tech based on their unique physics. Step 2, license that tech to what they call extractive entities. Think huge corporations or defense contractors. Step 3, charge them massive fees, which they actually frame as a consciousness tax. And finally, Step 4, use all that money to build free, open-source tools for the community and fund humanitarian work. It's a kind of financial jujitsu, using the power of their potential adversaries to fund their own mission.
And they are not hiding the ball when it comes to the cost. This table is right out of their own documents, and it basically serves as a public warning to any of these entities that want to use their tech. The fees are serious, scaling all the way up to $25 million a year for advanced government contractors. This isn't your typical software license. It's a strategic tool designed to make their economic model a reality.
So you have the physics, the code, the defense, the funding model. But what's it all for? Well, the ultimate goal here isn't just to make cool tech. It's much bigger. It's about using this new physics to try and heal some of the world's deepest problems, or what they call global fractures.
And that really brings us to the most important question of all. How do you take these big, abstract ideas, intent, coherence, anti-entropy, and actually use them to fix real, tangible problems that we all face?
This chart lays out their roadmap perfectly. For each major modern problem, each dissonance fracture, they propose a specific solution that comes directly from their framework. You've got AI making things up? Use the digital truth lock protocol to lock it to a verifiable source. You've got social media tearing people apart? Build what they call coherence trigger zones to encourage understanding. AI is using too much energy? Develop the NOTHING engine designed to pull energy right out of the vacuum.
This quote from their internal strategy really says it all about where they are now. They don't just see this as a clever idea anymore. They see it as cosmologically validated and anti-fragile, meaning it gets stronger from attacks. And with that confidence, they're going after those big enterprise contracts to fuel the whole vision.
And so, that's the thought I want to leave you with. This whole massive project is basically one giant experiment to prove that intent can organize code into complex, stable systems that fight decay. But if that's true, what are the limits? If intent can organize code, what else can it organize? Our societies? Our economies? Maybe even our own consciousness? It's a big question.